Hi everyone, it's Tammy and I'm super excited to do another card video with the Rose Wonder stamp set. This is one of my favorite stamp sets in the All Occasions catalog and it is just fabulous, and you can bundle it with some Rose Garden Thinlits, which are fabulous together. So if you wanted to do something like that, that would be something to consider. You get 15% off if you bundle them together. I absolutely love this set, and it is on page 18 of the All Occasions catalog if you are interested. It has lots of nice sayings and everything. I'm going to use for this card this really big rose, and I already have it placed on my Misty so that you guys can see how that works exactly. And I have it placed here. It's clear acrylic, and then I have my card base here that I want to put it on. So I've gone ahead and I've rubbed my embossing buddy over it, and now I'm going to take my Versamark and I am going to Versamark up this rose. Because we're going to do some embossing, which I love. So we're going to close this down, and I'm going to push really hard to make sure that all of that goes through. Take off my bracelet so it won't make that noise. And I will slowly lift up so that the paper won't stick, and then I'm just going to kind of look at it to make sure that I see all of the image, and I do, so I am perfect with that one. And I can take this off and it will be ready to be cleaned. And then I also want to, while I'm stamping, this one's done, I want to also stamp the inside of the card with a different stamp from the stamp set. I'm going to use this little flower. I'm going to put it, I don't know where, maybe right here. I might even put it a couple places. And oops, stamp it up with my Versamarker and put it down. And then I will use I will stamp it again right here. And then I think even one more time up here, kind of hanging off. Perfect. And then I have one more thing I want to stamp, which is the envelope. I'm going to decorate the envelope this time. I don't normally do that, but I thought that this time for this video I would. And I'm going to use, I think, that same flower. And we'll put it down here. And I'm going to do the Versamark for that one as well. And then I lied. There's one more thing I want to stamp, which is this small piece of black cardstock. I'm going to put our sentiment on this. And I have been trying to think about what I wanted to put on it. Oops, maybe I got those too close. There we go. And I think what I'm going to use is the one that says something about friendship. What a beautiful blessing you are to me. I'm going to put that right here. And I love these acrylic stamps because I can see exactly where I'm going to put it. Put Versamark on this one. And stamp it on down. Now I think I'm finished with my Versamark. I'm finished with my stamp set. I need to just clean all of those. And my envelope. And my seine. Okay. Now we are on a roll. This is going to be so cool. I'm going to take my black one and I'm going to put white embossing powder over this. And running the embossing buddy over should help the embossing powder not stick anywhere that you don't want it to stick, and have it only stick to where you've laid the Versamark. I just flip it a little bit to get it all off. And there's that one, so I'm going to put that one to the side. Actually, I'm going to put it over here so I'll be sure to see it. And then I'm going to take my, I'm going to put this back in the container. And to do that, I do it on a scrap piece of paper. And then I can just push all that embossing powder back into the container so that you don't use very much at all. Flip the side. And now I'm going to use my clear embossing powder for the other 3 pieces. So for the envelope, I will put some clear on. I just have that little flower. I'm going to go ahead and do this one this way. And for this one, this is where I have the 3 flowers, I think. 1, 2, 3, yes. So hopefully you can see those a little bit. And then this one is my big one. So I'm trying to be careful. And I'm just going to be very generous with this embossing powder. And if I use the whole container covering this, then that's absolutely okay, because again, I'm going to save most of it. Very little is actually being used. I wasn't sure where my image was, so I was kind of holding it on the wrong side. If you touch the embossing, like the Versamark, after you've put it on, you can make it not stick, but so I try to be careful of that, but I don't know if you can see that. It's really pretty. So we have that on there. So now I need to just put this big, huge pile back into my container. And look at that, it's like already full and I can't. I have more to put in. There we go. I will call that good because I don't know if I could fit much more in there. So now you take your heat emboss tool and you literally melt this plastic with your heat emboss tool, and you can kind of watch it. I'm going to put something underneath here just because I think I'll put the occasions catalog underneath because I don't want to ruin my table background. So. I'm just warming it all up while this is getting a good warm. And then you'll start to see it melt. I can see it from my view. I don't know. I'm seeing it now. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. If I were using a color, you could. I've done some other embossing cards, so look for those if you want to see this in action. I still find it amazing. I love it. This thing does get hot, so be careful. Okay, that one's done. And then we'll do the inside of the card. Sometimes if the card starts to buckle up like this, if you go on the back side and just heat it a little bit, it'll straighten itself out. Then we need to do this flower for the envelope. And then we need to do the same. You'll probably be able to see this melt. And that's that. So it sounds like a little hair dryer for a little bit, but it gets hotter than a hair dryer. And sometimes I'll use like a paper piercer or something to help hold it because it gets hot. It does, it does. And then now that it's melted, it's, you know, fine to mess with or whatever. Okay, so now let's put our card together and do our thing. Now, I'm going to use a scratch piece of paper. My cat is laying on it. To do a little bit of this sponge technique, which I love. And I'm using Calypso Coral and Old Navy. And I have my ink pads out. I'm going to go ahead and open them up. And I have two sponges that I just cut from one large sponge. They come like about this. You can cut them into about eighths. And then I hold this part and then I use this part to dip into my ink. So then I have ink on my sponge and I can do this cool inking technique. And I'm going to start with this Calypso Coral. So I get some on there. The more you put on here, the more obviously it's going to go. And I'm going to kind of do a round technique like this to put the ink on the flower. So I'm just going around the flower. See how that pops because of that clear embossing powder that we had on there? Isn't that awesome? And it kind of looks kind of watercolory because it's not perfect, and the more you put it on, the darker it'll be. And you can layer it up if you want to. But I think that's just about perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and do the leaves now on this one, and this one's going to be in the old olive. My cats. Fuzzy's getting in trouble. Isn't that awesome? I love this technique. I think it just makes everything look so beautiful. So, so pretty. And then I think I'm going to take, I think I might take the old olive and just kind of flick around the edges. And I did old olive because it's going to be sitting on a piece of Calypso coral like this. And then I have my card base made with the old olive like this. So we will put all that together here in just a little minute. I'm going to use the Calypso coral and go around these flowers. And then on this one, I think I will do the Calypso coral on the edges because it's going to rest against the old olive. There we go. And then the envelope, I will do the same with that. And that's it. But it makes it quite pretty. So now I'm finished with my inks, I believe. So I can get to making the card. And I'm going to use just some regular, you could use snail adhesive for the inside. And I think I'll do it like this. And then the outside, I'm going to put the Calypso coral on. With a nice border, just a 1/4 inch. And then I'm going to put this on. Just like this. Isn't that beautiful? And then I'm going to put this right here, and I'm going to use some dimensionals that I know I got out, but I don't know what I did with. What did I do with my dimensionals? I do not know. I'll get out some more. This one's almost gone, so I know I got out the other ones, but I don't know. I will just cut this one into 2 larger strips. I think. And I'll put one there. And I'll put one here. And I'll put one of these smaller ones here. And one of these smaller ones here. And maybe even a smaller one. Just have to cut one. Right here. This card is so pretty. I love this stamp set. And I sometimes like to make cards with no one in mind just to have them ready when I need it, but I have somebody in mind for this, so that even makes it more exciting. I'm going to put it almost to the white, but not quite. And then I'm going to just lay it down and make sure it's straight, which it's not. There it goes. And I just cut this out of black paper and I just notched the edges. That is beautiful. And then I think I'm going to put a couple sequins on. And I don't know how many yet. I'm just going to take a sequin and use it on a glue dot. And put them around. The last couple of cards I've used, I have not used a ribbon, which is crazy because for me, I use ribbon a lot. And this one could use one. I mean, you could put a ribbon here, but I'm trying to do some other things. I don't think I'll ever get away from doing glitter though, or some sort of bling. There we go. I think that's cute. There we go. So there is our card and our envelope. Very lovely. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up or subscribe. I'd love to have you as a member of one of my clubs. You can be a TT.Scrapper. And if you're interested in purchasing anything, all of my links are down below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.